Goodness knows you've been looking long enough. With the Volvo XC90, you've finally found what you've been looking for. A luxury SUV with seating for up to 7 people and loads of cargo space. Not to mention premium technology, including Google Maps, Google Assistant and Google Play. The Volvo XC90 is what you're looking for. Now at special run-out pricing from $99,990 plus on-roads. Visit Volvo Cars and discover why the XC90 is the vehicle for right now.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Porsche parade has rolled through Napier this weekend, led by ex-Formula One star and motor racing royalty Australian Mark Webber.
And now it's going to be victory for Mark Webber, his first in Formula One.
Yeah! Beauty! Yes! 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 Yes!
Mark Webber is a winner at last in Formula One.
Fully well deserved. It'll be a popular victory of that, there is no doubt.
Well, that's what it means to win a Formula One race. Mark Webber did it often. The Porsche Club of New Zealand holding its 50th anniversary celebration in Napier over 4 days, ending this weekend. Mark Webber led the procession in a rare Porsche Carrera GT. Now, they're valued at around about $2 million, just quietly. Mark Webber's with us. Thanks for joining us on Weekend Sport. Mark, you're a brand ambassador for Porsche. So how much do you enjoy taking part in events like this one?
Oh, yeah. It's been a beautiful morning here, mate. The coffee's flowing. We've got families all milling around the cars. You can hardly see the cars, actually, and there's an absolute, I don't know how many cars there are here. There's definitely over probably 200 cars, and stunning morning. And, yeah, I've done lots of Porsche clubs around the world as an ambassador for the brand, and but I'm so happy to come to New Zealand and see all the passion and enthusiasm for the brand down here. It's certainly very, very genuine.
I guess most people would be a bit nervous driving a car worth $2 million, but that's probably nowhere near the most valuable car you've been in, is it?
No, I'm still always nervous, mate. It doesn't matter. The value, of course, might increase the nerves a little bit, but of course, the owners of the car, they put a lot of trust in you to have a lot of mechanical sympathy with the car, which I, of course, endeavour to do and look after it like it's my own. And, so I have driven I've been lucky enough to drive some beautiful Porsches from the museum as well, from some of the factory cars. And so, some of these owners, they're not custodians for these cars. Of course, they want them to be in tremendous condition for an extended period of time. And while they have them, they really are completely in love with the cars, and they really look after them beautiful. It's their piece of artwork, which is really nice.
You've got a deep relationship, of course, with Porsche. You won the World Endurance Championship 2015 alongside our Kiwi Brendan Hartley, of course. You had 3 years with the team. What are your favourite memories of that time in your life?
Oh, that wasn't work for me, mate. I think that, working for such a tremendous brand like Porsche, re-entering back into sports cars after a bit of a gap that they had through that period there, it's the most winning brand at Le Mans, and that's the ultimate test for any man and machine is racing at Le Mans, see if the machinery can get through such an arduous event, flat-out racing for outright victory, and Porsche have had such a tremendous run there. So for me to be able to share the car with Brendan, for 3 years, we had such a great time together where we're in touch weekly to this day, such a great family, and I enjoy spending time with him. And, yeah, we've struck up a great relationship. So whether it's spending time with him here in NZ or back over in Europe, where we live very close to each other. So, river bloke and a great ambassador for New Zealand motorsport he's been.
The move from Formula One into the Endurance Championship, can you give us a bit of insight into how you made that decision?
Well, I think that my time in F1 was that's it's much more individual, of course. A lot more accountability and responsibility. Of course, I had a long career there, which I was so lucky to work with great people at Red Bull Racing and the Adrian Newey's of this world, and it was awesome for me to have, I suppose, the success in the back part of my Formula One career, because I didn't have the podiums and wins in the start of my career. I sort of had them more towards the end of my career, so that I was looking to sort of finish it at on my terms one action was finishing on my terms, and B, finishing with really, really good memories in Formula One. So, and then sort of stepping stone across to Porsche. It's like if you're going to go with any brand into sports car racing, I think there's not a driver in the world that would not love to race for Porsche. So then when they approached me about having the opportunity to go and re-enter in that championship, of course, very, very different. It's sharing the car with teammates, endurance racing at night. It's also multi-category. Obviously we're in the fastest car or outright category, but you've got to share the track with gentleman drivers and some amateurs, if you like. So that's really, really different F1. So I needed to get my head around that. But the fun with my teammates and having the success that we did, was just a nice extending my career a little bit, but less. It was, like I said, it wasn't as much work for me. It was certainly a bit more enjoyable and I wouldn't say relaxing, but it was a nice way to extend my career with such a tremendous brand.
You alluded to it there in terms of your career in F1. It took you 3 years to get your first podium, but by the end you were on the podium regularly. 40 podium finishes in your last 5 seasons compared to just a couple in your first 7. So is that a demonstration, Mark, of just how important experience is?
Yes, it was. I think. I felt ready for results earlier than that, but I just didn't. I wasn't in a situation, with the team, and also it could have been. Yeah, of course. The most experience you have is the day you retire. So you need to be. You're trying to bring that knowledge as far forward as you can early in your career, not to be. At a race weekend, be fast on Monday morning. You wake up and you go, if I did this, if I did that. You have to be able to action. Deploy your leadership and deploy your enthusiasm within the team and try and get the people around you. I mean, these Formula One teams now have over 1,000 people working for them, so a racing driver has an immense amount of responsibility and accountability to, leading the team in certain directions. So for me it's just sliding doors, mate. Maybe I wasn't ready for it earlier in my career and I hung in there through, I suppose, a critical period where I might have been on the ropes a little bit, but then got through that rough period and got some bigger results at the end of my career. So, I was lucky to achieve that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that luck is the main part of it, but I'll take your word for it. Liam Lawson, our man, of course, has had a challenging start to life in the full-time Formula One seat. How do you assess his ability to make the adjustments and become a successful F1 driver?
Yeah, look, he's in a top team. Obviously, Red Bull are serial winners. They're used to, tremendous success. They have an immense amount of depth and experience within the organisation from an engineering perspective and operationally, clearly world class. Strategically, they're great. Obviously, Max Verstappen, current 4-time world champion. So he will be, of course, leading the team. So for Liam to have access to how Max operates will be absolutely phenomenal for him. So that's a very, very good positive. But, F1's not a finishing school. I always say when you arrive in F1, it's not a finishing school. You've got to really try to get up to speed as fast as possible and put the car on its tippy toes and be consistently on the limit for the car. So I think that's where Liam, he knows he's at the pinnacle now, Formula One. He has the chance. Red Bull have showed the belief in him to give him a full contract. And now he's just got to immerse himself into understanding that, his job is a racing driver and his job is to get the absolute maximum out of himself ASAP. And that's what he needs to do. And I'm sure he's trying to do that.
How bright is the F1 spotlight and how deep is the pressure that comes with that?
Of course, there's only 20 of them on the grid, and I think that, the industry media, obviously they're incredibly well educated, some more so than others, of course, but they try to, they're always looking for opportunities to maybe create some extra pressure or certain scenarios, and they might not have all the pieces to the jigsaw, but, the teams are under pressure, the drivers are under pressure, because everyone's got goals and standards, everyone's trying to get towards the front of the grid. But as we know, there can be only one winner or one perceived group or teams that are doing well. So right now, Ferrari and McLaren have come out of the blocks pretty strong, as has Max. Max is there. So Liam replace Sergio because they needed those extra points and start to contribute to the Constructors' Championship because that's huge for the teams. They need two consistent drivers. So that's where, the pressure can mount. As long as he's contributing to the points in a healthy fashion, then he will be under no pressure.
I know you want to get back, or there'll be a lot of people wanting to chat to you there, Mark. I just want to know, though, on behalf of our audience, a lot of them, I'm sure, have thought about, what it must be like inside an F1 car. How hard are they to drive, let alone to win a race or races in one of them?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, it's like anything in life. People get very good at, when you have experience, which we do through the junior categories, and what do they say, the 10,000-hour rule, when you do so much practice, and then you're at the arrowhead of operating. That is, of course, the fastest car in the world. A Formula One car is immensely quick. The braking capabilities, the cornering capabilities, just absolutely mind-blowing how quick these cars are. So the more that we have, the training, and then you've got this word, which is obviously, then you get skillful. You get highly skilled at your job. And whether you're a musician or whether you're into other sports, rugby union, you guys are big on that. So when you get that skillful at your trade, you become at one with the vehicle. And then you're down to the point you just mentioned there, is about actually, then you're about execution and consistency, about how, if you can do it better than everyone else, of course, then you have a chance to have immense results and start to win races. So, but when you're against the last, 2 or 3, 4 in the world, it gets, there's some pretty handy boys around. So, but it's a great, it's a highly technical sport, very challenging, and one where it's incredibly popular all around the world right now. So, it's in a good spot, and I hope that, for the Kiwis' sake and all the motorsport fans in this country, because I know everyone loves it, that Liam can have a good start to the year soon and get that Kiwi national anthem playing even. You never know. Yeah,
wouldn't that be great? It's been such an education talking to you, Mark. Thanks for taking the time. I know the Porsche Club of New Zealand, delighted to have you here. Enjoy the rest of your stay in New Zealand, and thanks for taking the time for a chat.
No worries. Have a good day. Cheers. Thanks.
You have a good day too, Mark. Thanks indeed. Mark Webber, pretty famous. It just seems very down to earth for such a famous bloke. He won, 9 Grand Prix across 12 seasons. Then it came across to endurance racing. Won it with Brendan Hartley in 2015 with Porsche. Those numbers that I put to Mark, and he obviously knew them, but I just hope that Liam Lawson gets the opportunity to get used to this car. Because you look at Mark Webber's Formula One career, and even when he got to Red Bull Racing, which is where he had most of his success, he got there in 2007, and he had all his Grand Prix wins with Red Bull. But it didn't happen straight away. In fact, he had just one podium finish in his first 2 seasons with Red Bull Racing. Now, they could easily have said, well, this isn't working. Maybe we move on. They obviously had a driver they had a lot of faith in. But then you look at his next 4 years in that car. He had 8 podium finishes the following year, 10 the one after that, 10 the one after that, and then 4 the one after that, and 8 in his final year. So, as I said to him, hardly any at the start of his career in the first 5, 6, 7 years. So it obviously just takes time to learn this car. And Liam Lawson is learning in real time. So how much is this about just actually letting him be for a bit? The issue is, the spotlight, I think, is probably, it was harsh back then. The spotlight on Liam Lawson is so harsh now. Honestly, if you want to find out how much pressure Liam Lawson is under, simply go onto social media and type his name in. And you will feel the wrath of thousands, tens of thousands of motorsport fans who don't think he should be there. Clearly, if you're Liam Lawson, you stay off social media. But the spotlight is so harsh upon him.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.
For a few years in the 1970s, the Mr. Asia syndicate made millions.
Heroin creates its own market. It acts like a form of plague.
Until jealousy, betrayal, and murder brought it all crashing down.
Then he just pulled out a gun, shot her in the back of the head, and then said to Wayne, "You're going to help me bury her."
This is Mr. Asia, A Forgotten History. All episodes now available on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.